Hello everybody, happy Canada Day. I'm Cleve Dheensaw. I've written sports stories for the Victoria Times Colonist newspaper for nearly 40 years. And on Canada Day 2020, I've selected a Canadian classic, The Hockey Sweater by Roch and illustrations by Sheldon Cohen. Shall we start? The Hockey Sweater. The winters of my childhood were long, long seasons. We lived in three places, the school, the church, and the skating rink. But our real life was on the skating rink. Real battles were won on the skating rink. Real strength appeared on the skating rink. The real leaders showed themselves on the skating rink. School was a sort of punishment. Parents always want to punish their children, and school is their most natural way of punishing us. However, school was also a quiet place where we could prepare for the next hockey game and lay out our strategies. As for church, we found there the tranquility of God. There we forgot school and dreamed about the next hockey game. Through our daydreams, it might happen that we could recite a prayer. We would ask God to help us play as well as Maurice Richard. And here are their hockey games on the outdoor ice in Quebec. I remember very well the winter of 1946. We all wore the same uniform as Maurice Richard, the red, white, and blue uniform of the Montreal Canadiens, the best hockey team in the world. We all combed our hair like Maurice Richard, and to keep it in place we used a kind of glue, a great deal of glue. We laced our skates like Maurice Richard. We taped our sticks like Maurice Richard. We cut his pictures out of the newspapers. Truly, we knew everything there was to know about him. There they all are, with their number 9 jersey of the Montreal Canadiens, all trying to look like Maurice Rocket Richard. On the ice, when the referee blew the whistle, 2 teams would rush at the puck. We were 5 Maurice Richards against 5 other Maurice Richards, throwing themselves on the puck. We were 10 players, all wearing the uniform of the Montreal Canadiens, all with the same burning enthusiasm. We all wore the famous number 9 on our backs. How could we forget that? One day, my Montreal Canadiens sweater was too small for me, and it was ripped in several places. My mother said, "If you wear that old sweater, people are going to think we are poor." Then she did what she did whenever we needed new clothes. She started looking through the catalog that the Eaton Company in Montreal sent us in the mail every year. My mother was proud. She never wanted to buy our clothes at the general store. The only clothes that were good enough for us were the latest styles from Eaton's catalog. My mother did not like the order forms included in the catalog. They were written in English, and she did not understand a single word of it. To order my hockey sweater, she did what she always did. She took out her writing pad and wrote in her fine school teacher's hand, "Dear Monsieur Eaton, would you be so kind as to send me a Canadiens hockey sweater for my son, Roch, who was 10 years old and a little bit tall for his age. Dr. Robitaille thinks he is a little too thin. I am sending you $3. Please send me the change if there is any. I hope your packing will be better than it was last time." Monsieur Eaton answered my mother's letter promptly. 2 weeks later, we received the sweater. And there she is, ordering the sweater for her son. And here he is, dreaming on his bed of what his new sweater will look like. And there's the little town he grew up in, Roche Carrier's hometown. That day, I had one of the greatest disappointments of my life, however. Instead of the red, white, and blue Montreal Canadiens sweater, Monsieur Eaton had sent the blue and white sweater of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I had always worn the red, white, and blue sweater of the Montreal Canadiens. All my friends wore the red, white, and blue sweater. Never had anyone in my village worn the Toronto sweater. Besides, the Toronto team was always being beaten by the Canadiens. With tears in my eyes, I found the strength to say, "I'll never wear that uniform." "My boy," said my mother, "first you're going to try it on. If you make up your mind about something before you try it, you won't get very far in this life," she said. My mother had pulled the blue and white Toronto Maple Leaf sweater over my head and put my arms into the sleeves. She pulled the sweater down and carefully smoothed the maple leaf right in the middle of my chest. There it is, the wrong jersey. I was crying. I can't wear that. Why not? This sweater is perfect. His mother said. Maurice Richard would never wear it, I said. You're not Maurice Richard. Besides, it's not what you put on your back that matters. It's what you put inside your head. You'll never make me wear that. You'll never make me put that head to my wear sweater maple leaf, I said. My mother sighed in despair and explained to me, if you don't keep this sweater, which fits you perfectly, I'll have to write to Monsieur Eaton and explain that you don't want to wear the Toronto maple leaf sweater. Monsieur Eaton understands French perfectly, but it's English, and he's going to be insulted because he likes the maple leafs. If he's insulted, do you think he'll be in a hurry to answer us? Spring will come before you play a single game just because you don't want to wear that nice blue sweater. So I had to wear the Toronto maple leaf sweater. And there is a very sad boy having to wear the wrong sweater of the Toronto Maple Leafs. When I arrived at the skating rink in my blue sweater, all the Maurice Richards in red, white, and blue came one by one and looked at me. The referee blew his whistle and I went to take my usual position. The coach came over and told me I would be on the second line. A few minutes later, the second line was called. I jumped onto the ice. The maple leaf sweater weighed on my shoulders like a mountain. The captain came and told me to wait. He needed me later on defense. All the Habs in red, all the Habs fans, the little kids in red, and there's one little Roch in his Toronto Maple Leafs jersey, looking very sad. By the third period, I still had not played. Then one of the defensemen was hit on the nose with a stick and it started to bleed. I jumped on the ice. My moment had come. The referee blew his whistle and gave me a penalty. He said there were already 5 players on the ice. That was too much. It was too unfair. This is persecution, I shouted. It's just because of my blue sweater. I crashed my stick against the ice so hard that it broke. There's a very angry young man there in the wrong jersey of the wrong team. I bent down to pick up the pieces. When I got up, the young curate on skates was standing in front of me. My child, he said, just because you're wearing a new Toronto Maple Leaf sweater, it doesn't mean you're going to make the laws around here. Good boys never loses his temper. Take off your skates and go to the church and ask God to forgive you. Wearing my maple leaf sweater, I went to the church where I prayed to God. A very lonely boy in his blue sweater walking to the church in the snow in a Canadian winter. I asked God to send me right away 100 million moths that would eat up my Toronto Maple Leaf sweater. And that was his prayer. To have the moths eat up the Toronto sweater so he could wear his Habs sweater eventually in the future. And that is The Hockey Sweater by Roch Carrier.